tension-myoneural syndrome is a term coined by Dr. John Sarno, a wise American doctor of rehabilitation medicine who noticed a strong link between painful chronic conditions and people's emotional states. Many people have heard about the term psychosomatic pain, but few have yet heard of TMS, or its more modern term, neuroplastic pain. And yet, knowing about TMS and understanding how it operates can make a huge difference as to whether someone recovers from chronic pain or not. In this recording, I'm going to share 4 secrets of TMS and recovery to help you understand what actually goes on in the brain and body when someone has TMS or chronic neuroplastic symptoms. Please listen to this recording even if you are not sure that you have TMS, or if you've never heard about it. If you have chronic pain or symptoms that you cannot seem to completely resolve through conventional or alternative therapies, chances are that this knowledge will change your life forever. Number 1. TMS is both a mental and a physical condition. Mind and body actually cannot be separated, even though Western thinking has attempted to do so. Anything that occurs on an emotional level has a physiological impact. If we are worried or tense, the worry or tension will manifest somatically in the body to a certain extent. We may get a tension headache or a stiff neck. If we are happy and excited, we also experience physiological symptoms like butterflies in our stomach, a burst of energy and focus. These are also physical symptoms that result due to our emotional state. So whether we are happy or sad, angry or elated, the body reflects this physically. We are going through this process practically all the time because as emotional beings, our bodies are getting emotional input all the time, which is then reflected in the way our body behaves. But people with TMS have accumulated so much emotional burdens that they start to feel it more intensely as pain, discomfort, and a number of other symptoms. These can include dizziness, skin issues, muscle spasms, nerve pain, sensitivity to different stimuli, like food and the weather, and hundreds of other symptoms that may or may not respond to traditional medical treatment. But in all cases of TMS, treatment almost never completely eliminates the symptoms. And that's because if the emotional burden or the stress is still present deep within, then the actual source of symptoms is still present. And until we recognize it, it will continue to have physical repercussions on the body. You can therefore think of TMS symptoms as reflections of your emotional state. Any situation, thought, or assumption that creates distress or fear in the mind will be reflected in the body to some extent. Number 2. Unconscious and repressed emotions cause the most intense and unpleasant symptoms. Many people think that stress is the cause for symptoms, but this is not the full truth. When we acknowledge the source of the stress and accept how we're feeling about it, then it typically doesn't cause too many symptoms. However, as human beings, we tend to repress several emotions because we have been programmed to believe that these emotions are unacceptable or too uncomfortable to entertain. For example, we may grow up believing that anger is bad and that it will get us rejected, and therefore we train ourselves to deny or suppress feelings of anger until we no longer get consciously angry. However, when a situation takes place that triggers us, in reality we are not immune to that anger. We are just repressing it. This makes it more likely for TMS to flare up, because if we have no outlet for expressing the anger, then it is likely to get expressed somatically in the body. This remains the only way for your unconscious to alert you that something is wrong, that you may be in a situation that is creating too much pressure and frustration for you, and that you need to do something about it. When we ignore these calls for help, we risk creating a larger reservoir of anger and rage in the body, and our symptoms just keep getting worse. There is a reason for this. The unconscious hopes that by creating enough symptoms, it will finally get us to take action, to get ourselves out of a toxic situation, like a demanding job or a responsibility that we've unwillingly been taking on. Those people who do not take conscious action in order to seek more balance and happiness will be forced to take this action as their symptoms start interfering with their day-to-day lives. Finally, the symptoms can become so extreme that they will stop them from continuing with a lifestyle that is creating so much pressure and anger. But this is not the ideal solution. Although the unconscious may be successful at its mission of getting people out of an uncomfortable or undesirable situation, it leaves them with debilitating pain or symptoms. This will create more fear and anger, which leads to another mechanism behind most cases of TMS, the pain-fear cycle, where symptoms keep being fired up as we start to fear and expect them. Number 3. Your unconscious will only create symptoms that you can afford to have. This may sound strange to some, but in reality, since the unconscious is trying to protect you, it will generally only create symptoms which it believes are for your own good. As we've mentioned in number 2, TMS symptoms are designed to get you to listen to your needs so that you can finally process and release uncomfortable emotions, or take action if your current lifestyle is too toxic and unhealthy for you. Therefore, since TMS is a survival mechanism, it will not kill you. Instead, it will create very uncomfortable symptoms to try and get you to do something, or to try and get you out of a situation that you don't really want to be in. But if there is a life or death situation, TMS symptoms can totally change or go away. Many individuals with debilitating pain have found that in a state of emergency, for instance, when they find themselves in the vicinity of a fire, if they notice that a stranger is stalking them at night, or when they realize that they're about to miss their plane, they can run and use their body without pain or symptoms. For a short period of time in a state of emergency, the mind realizes that they cannot afford to have the symptoms, and instead, they are mobilized to run, fight, or take action. There have even been reports of people lifting up vehicles in order to rescue another person trapped under the vehicle. In this case, they are filled with superhuman strength that allows them to deal with the situation. All other pain or symptoms fade away for that moment in time. If you have noticed that your symptoms have faded away either during an emergency situation or at a time when you are really enjoying yourself, then you will be able to relate. This is proof that TMS is not permanent and that the body can change very quickly. Pain can disappear almost instantly if it weren't for our fears and false beliefs. Number 4. You can consciously decide not to get a symptom anymore. This is a more positive TMS secret. Many people will find this one strange, but actually, it's your assumptions that determine your symptoms. If you assume that an activity might hurt, then it will likely hurt. If you assume that the food will cause an IBS flare-up, then it likely will. If you assume that in some way you are injured or have a condition that causes pain, then your body will reflect this fear in exactly those locations that you fear are the weakest and most prone to symptoms. This is why when we embark on TMS recovery, we have to carefully examine our beliefs, including those beliefs that we've accumulated since childhood. Maybe we've been told that carrying heavy stuff will cause back pain, or that practicing a certain sport will make us more likely to develop a specific injury. All of these are suggestions that can lead us to experience those specific symptoms, and in order to recover, we need to consciously reject them and decide otherwise. A powerful way to decide is to first identify the fear-based belief or assumption, and then firmly assert the contrary in a powerful and authoritative tone. My most powerful affirmation for this process is, I am not doing that symptom anymore. And chronic symptoms don't happen in my world. Although it might sound strange to make a decision about something that you've assumed you have no control over, this is actually what needs to be done. That assumption of lack of agency on your part is what's keeping you stuck, and for as long as you keep on blaming external circumstances for TMS pain, you will find it very difficult to overcome it. Yes, you can decide to be free of any symptom. There are hundreds of recovery stories out there, some of them from people whose doctors told them that there was no hope of ever getting better. Constantly, people are defying the limits of what they thought was possible, just by deciding that they are going to have it differently. And you can do the same if you decide to stop buying into the fear and to question all of your assumptions and replace them with more positive assumptions. Mainly the assumption that your body can function normally and your symptoms can disappear. That brings me to the end of the 4 secrets of TMS that I wanted to share with you here. I hope that you've gained some insight. For more insight and to discover a process that you can follow to fully recover, I invite you to check out my book, The Pain Secret: Unlocking the Mind-Body Connection to Overcome Chronic Pain or Symptoms. And to check out my website, www.PainOutsidetheBox.com. Please let me know if you like the style of this video in the comments and if you'd like me to create more videos like this one. I wish you all a wonderful day ahead.